Good evening, everybody. As you may hear, I am struggling a little bit. You will have to bear with me. I want to say this. I think what is happening in our country today is something that generations that went before us would simply never have believed. We were given a full, free and fair referendum in this country. We were told by every single senior politician in all the major parties that whatever the result of that referendum was, they would respect the result and implement our will. And now, nearly 3.5 years on, we have a parliament that is doing its damnedest to stop it from happening. We have a group of former prime ministers. I mean, Tony Blair, God help us. Sir John Major. And occasionally Gordon Brown pops up. But we have a group of former prime ministers. We even have senior figures like Jeremy Corbyn now effectively supporting active street protest in this country. We are heading towards mob rule, and somebody has got to stand up for democracy and decency and all the things that once made us a very great nation. And I really think that back in March, they thought they'd won. We had in number 10, without doubt, the worst, and I think most dishonest Prime Minister in the history of this nation. And it appeared that all was lost. It appeared Brexit wasn't going to happen. It appeared we were heading towards a second referendum. And then something happened. I had a little idea. And it was called the Brexit Party. And I think we changed things massively. Now, today's been a day of great drama. I think we can quite safely say that summer ended, the epic political autumn has begun, and of course it's first day at school at Westminster tomorrow. And all that screaming and shouting about why is Parliament going to be closed down over the party conference season? Well, the answer is it has been for the last 80 years. And if they were really worried, after over 3 years of debating Brexit, if they were really worried about it, they could have all cancelled their holidays in Tuscany during August, couldn't they? But it is clear that there will be a big attempt by Corbyn and others tomorrow. They'll be allowed by that wonderful Speaker of the House of Commons, John Bercow. They will be allowed to take control of the order paper, and they will try to get a vote through tomorrow that potentially extends the Brexit date again from the 31st of October to the end of January. Boris Johnson gave a press conference tonight in Downing Street, where he said he doesn't want to have a general election and he wants people in his party to toe the line. I can't predict how that vote will go tomorrow, but I suspect the Prime Minister will lose, and I suspect we'll be facing a general election probably to take place on the 14th of October. Now, yes, sir, on the face of it, yes. On the face of it, yes, because actually, those of us that want Brexit are now in a big majority over those who want to remain. That's the good news. But here's the bad news. Boris spent most of that press conference at 6 o'clock saying how frightfully well negotiations were going with the European Union, that they're making great progress towards getting agreement on what he calls the deal, Mrs. May's deal. It is not a deal. It is a new EU treaty. It is legally binding in international law, and arguably, if Boris is able to come back with some amendments to the backstop and force it through the House of Commons, it is so bad that many that voted Brexit will say, why on earth did we bother? Because in some ways, it's arguably even worse than being a member of the European Union. So when I hear people say, oh, come on, Nigel, Boris is doing frightfully well. Well, look, in terms of style, in terms of optimism, in terms of energy, he's 1,000 times better than Theresa May. Although, it'd be difficult not to be, wouldn't it, really? But all this stuff we heard about Brexit do or die, no, he is desperate to sign us up to a deal. So when it comes to this general election, the idea that after 27 years of my life of campaigning for us to be a free, independent, self-governing nation, that we're going to stand aside and let Boris and the Conservative Party sell us out once again, let me tell you, is a complete and utter non-starter. And we are ready. We are ready. We had 540 of our candidates in a hall in Westminster last week. We're ready with 625 approved candidates all over this country. We know the Labour Party have completely sold out 5 million of their own people. The Labour Party now has betrayed everything, and we know we have to fight the Labour Party. But believe you me, if Boris Johnson's Conservative Party are even contemplating this withdrawal agreement, this new European treaty, we will fight them every inch of the way. But if Boris Johnson comes to the conclusion that he can't get an amendment to the backstop, and I'm personally hoping that Mr. Juncker, Barnier and Verhofstadt are as pig-headed as they normally are and don't concede a thing. But if Boris decides that the right thing to do with a general election that may come on the 14th of October is to ask the British public for a mandate for us to leave with a clean break Brexit, then we in the Brexit Party will put country before party and do everything we can to help Johnson, to help all politicians to achieve that goal. And you know, a Conservative Party that finally, after decades of selling us out, decided to do the right thing. They, allied with us, would be unstoppable in a general election. We would get Brexit, we would destroy Corbyn, and we would be a free, independent nation. Yes, there may be, on the 1st of November, 1 or 2 bumps in the road, but freed and proud, we'd be able to get on with the rest of our lives. I've said it, I can't do any more than I've done. The ball is now. Boris, we're fighting every seat in the country. Boris, you can't win without us. Boris, if you go for the withdrawal agreement, I'm afraid you will lose. But if you do the right thing and we support you, you'll be a national hero in the history of this nation. Thank you.
I don't want them. I don't want them.